चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्य उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So welcome to the Sunday feast. Happy to see all of you today. So we are reading from the first canto, chapter 3, sloka number 3. Can all of you open that, or maybe I should display? I will display, no problem. Let me know if the size of the text is good. Are you able to read it? This or little bigger is needed? पढ़ पा रहे हैं आप लोग? What? I should share in the... Okay. So first canto, titled The Creation, chapter 3, titled Krishna is the source of all incarnations, verse number 3. A quite interesting verse. So please repeat with me. Yasya vayava samsthanaihi कल्पितो लोकविस्तरः तद्वै भगवतो रूपम् विशुद्धं सत्त्वमूर्जितम् यस्यावयवसंस्थानैः कल्पितो लोकविस्तरः तद्वै भगवतो रूपम् विशुद्धं सत्त्वमूर्जितम् यस्यावयवसंस्थानैः कल्पितो लोकविस्तरः तद्वै भगवतो रूपम् विशुद्धं सत्त्वमूर्जितम्. Someone would like to repeat from Prabhuji side. Yasyavayavasamsthane kalpito lokavistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam Vishuddham Sattvamurjitam. One more person. Mataji. Yasyavayavasamsthane Kalpito Lokavistaraha Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishuddham Sattvamurjitam. Okay, once all together, not repetition but together. Yasya vayava samsthanaihi kalpito lokavistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvamurjitam. What the word meanings? Yasya, whose? Avyava, bodily expansion. Samsthanaihi, situated in. Kalpitaha, is imagined. Loka, planet of inhabitants. Vistaraha, various. Tatvai, but that is. Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Rupam, form. Vishuddham, purely. Sattvam, existence. Urjitam, excellence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. Purport. The conception of Virat Rupa or Vishwarupa of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, a form means something of this material world. Oh, the announcement is happening outside. To him, a form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of the absolute truth is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends His potency in the form of the Mahat Tattva, which includes all material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord Himself personally are one in one sense, but at the same time, the Mahat Tattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. This conception of Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalist, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahat Tattva, and is stressed that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by His internal potency, and the formation of His multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of Mahat Tattva. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing a completely philosophical topic. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned that to understand the Siddhanta, one should not be lazy. If somebody is lazy to understand the Siddhanta, then they will make mistakes, blunders in the service of the Lord. There was one very nice Bengali poet during the time of Lord Chaitanya, who with a very sincere, innocent, pure heart, he wrote some nice composition trying to glorify Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he wanted to go and present in front of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This incident is in detail described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But the rule was that anybody who goes in front of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, they have to go through some filters. They have to go through personalities like Swarup Damodar, because the Lord's ecstasy should not be disturbed. Towards the end of his pastimes, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not strictly preaching, but he was just sitting in the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri and he was relishing Krishna Katha. He was regularly hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So we are not supposed to imitate that. Relishing is the job of the master. The job of the servant is to facilitate the relishment of the master. So therefore, we should not try to behave or try to follow in towards the Antilila pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. That now I have preached sufficiently, let me sit in my house and go in ecstasy. For conditioned souls who have not given up Trishna, two things are very dangerous: going in ecstasy and going in samadhi. People go in ecstasy, generally in neophytes they go in ecstasy, then they forget their services. They forget their roles and responsibilities. They are not able to harmonize between duty and emotion. And when a neophyte goes in samadhi while holding the japmala, that is a waste of time. So for neophytes, two things are not recommended. What are these two things? Samadhi and ecstasy. So we should facilitate the ecstasy and the samadhi of acharyas, the Lord and the spiritual masters and the sincere servants of our spiritual masters. So therefore, we should continue our devotional services, our preaching activities, our book distribution till the last breath of our life, till the last drop of blood which is there in our body. However, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, he was relishing. So anybody who wanted to go and talk to him and present something, they had to go through Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar, this Bengali poet, went and he presented a mixture of rasas, rasabhas which is said. He was not knowing the proper Siddhanta, who is Jagannath, who is Lord Chaitanya. He was minimizing the importance or the glory of Jagannath, and he was over glorifying on the After minimizing Jagannath, he was glorifying Lord Chaitanya. So this is not the Siddhanta. So Swarup Damodar chastised him very badly. But first you should know the Siddhanta. Only those who know the Siddhanta can give pleasure to the Lord. Those who do not know the Siddhanta, they'll commit blunders. They'll do things which are not proper. So here is a verse today which discusses the Siddhanta between the Virat Rupa and the Swayam Rupa. What is the difference between the Virat Rupa and the personal form of the Lord? Are they same? Are they both eternal? Are they both permanent? Are they both real? Are they both unreal? Whom should I worship? Many people consider that the Virat Rupa which Krishna showed in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is the greatest thing which has happened in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore I should worship the Virat Rupa. This kind of thought processes are there. So today we are here to discuss few things. But before we start the discussion, let's repeat the translation with repetition. Please, when I say, please repeat. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha. But he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally spiritual, existence par excellence. Now, to understand this verse, we have to understand another purport of Srila Prabhupada, which is from a different canto. This is from the second canto, chapter 1, shloka number 24. To understand this 133, we will read 2-3 other verses and again come back to 133. You see, what is this Virat Purusha? In the second canto, chapter 1, shloka 24, purport, Srila Prabhupada says, less intelligent men cannot conceive of the transcendental, all-spiritual form of the Lord. But they are astounded by his different energies. Just as the aborigines means those who are not a part of the Vedic culture, they have not been trained in the Vedic science, they are living in the mountains, in the forests, Adivasis basically, aborigines. The aborigines praise the strength of the tiger and the elephant because of their superior energy and strength. So when the Adivasis, they will see a very great banyan tree, they will feel so mesmerized. They'll say, this is the greatest. This is the Lord. Like that they will say. Anything which, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that anything which is beautiful, wonderful, is just a spark of my splendor. So that is a fact that whenever I see a beautiful building, immediately I should think of the energies of Krishna. That if this building is so beautiful, how much beautiful Krishna himself will be, like that. So in some indirect way, the Adivasis have this connection that when they see a great banyan tree, when they see a tiger, or when they see the thunder, they consider it to be the supreme and they offer obeisances to it. So at least these aborigines, they are better than atheists. Somewhere they recognize the presence of the Supreme, but the atheists are useless. I mean, the Mayavadis and atheists, their brains are short-circuited. Very basic things, due to some strange stubbornness, they are not able to understand. However, there are no atheists in India. Very rarely. Because all these atheists, if you scratch the surface, little bit perplexity, little bit problems if you give in their life, firstly they'll go to the temple. So atheism in India is like a joke. Because God consciousness is in the blood of everybody in the holy land of India. They will say, I am atheist, I am this, I am that. But secretly, they will be worshipping some form of God. Did I tell you the story of my atheist friend who was a devotee of Jagannath? Did I tell you this? Huh? Did I tell that? So I had a friend who was a complete atheist. And then any kind of discussions on the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord, he used to like, I'm not interested, I'm an atheist. I'm a self-styled atheist, like that he used to speak. So then I was just informing everybody that when I was working at that time, that there is Jagannath Rath Yatra happening. So I was telling, so he also heard, he came for Rath Yatra. I said, you are an atheist, why you came for Rath Yatra? So no, I am from Orissa, Jagannath is the Lord, so for Rath Yatra I come. Then I understood, special kind of atheist. Then after some time, I managed to get some Tirupati laddus, so I was distributing in the office. He also came like this, like with full respect, thoda, laddu mujhe dego. I said, you are an atheist. No, Tirupati laddu, prasad hai, Bhagwan ka prasad hai. Then I understood, very nice atheist he is. So these aborigines, they are better. They are actually openly understanding and they are trying to acknowledge the form of the Lord. But they don't have the understanding, Siddhanta knowledge they don't have. So the aborigines praise the strength of the tiger and the elephant because of their superior strength. Thus, the asuras cannot recognize the existence of the Lord, although there are vivid descriptions of the Lord in the revealed scriptures. Although the Lord incarnates and exhibits his uncommon strength and energy, and although he is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by learned scholars and saints like Vyasadeva, Narada, Asita, Devala in the past, and by Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and also by acharyas like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the modern age. So although the greatest of the greatest people will acknowledge, but the asuras, they will say no. Krishna is not God. I am God. You are God. Everybody is God. So this is the quality of an asura. Demoniac nature. The asuras do not accept any evidential proof from the revealed scriptures, nor do they recognize the authority of the great acharyas. They want to see with their own eyes at once. So what is, they are not respectful to the acharyas, they are not respectful to the shastra, they are not respectful to guru, they are not respectful to the sadhu. What they want to do? They want to see by their own eyes. So what is the arrangement Krishna has made for them? Therefore they can see the gigantic body of the Lord as Virat, which will answer their challenge, since they are accustomed to paying homage to superior material strength like that of the tiger, elephant, lightning. They can offer respect to the Virat Rupa. So their understanding is so poor. Most of the time these atheists, they think that if something has a form, it must be material. Anything spiritual cannot have a form. Why? Because I have this form, this is my form, and it gives me pain. So anything which has a form is painful. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So if Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, if he is all blissful, matlab form nahi hona chahiye. So this is their poor understanding. But they are very much appreciative of the tiger. For example, you know what atheists will like? They like this. When they'll see something very beautiful, they'll say, this is so beautiful. They'll appreciate it. I'm not saying that all mountain photographers are atheists. Some of them are smiling here. So I'm not saying that all mountain photographers are atheists. But this is what the atheists like to. They will appreciate the beauty and the greatness in various aspects of nature. But they refuse to understand or agree or acknowledge that who is the creator of this beautiful creation. Creation implies creator. This is a basic common sense. If I have this mobile, somebody has made this mobile. So the atheist will say, oh, very nice mobile. I love this mobile. But who has created this mobile? No, this mobile is just like that. Nobody has created. So this is the stubbornness. So they will be very fond of taking snapshots of natural beauty. If the sun is rising or sun is setting, they will do this. And now in the purport it is mentioned that they will appreciate the strength of the tiger. So I found a short video of the tiger also. See, when the atheists will see this, how high the tiger can jump and catch its prey, how much powerful it is. Oh, very nice. When they will go towards a place where it is really beautiful, they will be able to appreciate it. So those who cannot appreciate the Supreme Lord as Krishna or Rama, they show reverence to the energy and the power in Lord's creation. So those who are not able to directly appreciate the Shyama Sundar form of the Lord, the eternal Satchidananda Vigraha form of the Lord, what is the hope for them? The hope for them is that they will appreciate the power and the energy of the Lord in the Virata Purusha form. In the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, what is this Virat Purusha? The different planetary systems are different parts of the body, all the trees are the hair, all the rivers are the veins. So this kind of description is there. So they like all this. It is very difficult for them to conceive a form for them because some short circuit is there in the brain. They think form means material. Although in this purport it is mentioned that everything material comes from Mahat Tattva. But before Mahat Tattva came, who was there? Krishna was there. So this basic point is the proof enough that the Lord's form is not material, because everything which is material, which comes from Mahat Tattva, before the Mahat Tattva was created, he was existing. That means his form cannot be material. However, the atheists will like only the tiger, and they will like only the elephants. So whatever was written in that purport, quickly try to make a presentation. Similarly, when they will see banyan trees, they'll be so happy. When they will see thunder and lightning, they'll be so happy. And they will think Bhagwan means this only. Virat Purusha form. Yes, this is what I am supposed to do. So when I will get this darshan, then only I have seen Bhagwan, they think. So once one man asked Srila Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada, I have been chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra from last 1 week. When do you think I'll see the Virat form of the Lord? This is on record question to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, just keep on chanting. You will see like that. So I thought today we'll do some little entertainment. So I have cut a video from one of the TV serials. This is not as per the scriptures, but थोड़ा entertainment के लिए थोड़ा देखेंगे अभी. Oh, volume is not there. 1 second. If the volume works, you will get the entertainment. If the volume doesn't work. Oh, TV volume you have to increase. Remote. Now that we will see this short video of the Virat form, which is not fully scriptural, but little bit good for the eyes.
आपकी शक्ति, आपका ज्ञान, तेज, ऐश्वर्य से युक्त परमात्मा स्वरूप को प्रत्यक्ष देखना चाहता हूँ, जो अपने अविनाशी स्वरूप का दर्शन दीजिए माँ, मेरे सारे संदेह नष्ट कर दीजिए, दर्शन दीजिए माँ।
देखो बात,
Hare Krishna. I thought I saw all of you were completely absorbed, focused. I'm getting a good idea that every Sunday feels some video should be shown. But how many of us are so absorbed when we read the actual description of this in the 11th chapter? This shows we are Kali-yuga brains. So, now this is what the imagination is, that all this has happened. And then Arjuna is so eager to see the Virat Rupa. But those who will read the purport of the Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, you will come to know that Arjuna was not at all eager to see this. He just wanted the people of Kali-yuga to be sure that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore he wanted all doubts to be fully settled that Krishna is Bhagavan. And Krishna understood the intention of Arjuna. So therefore, a very nice purport is there. I will again share my screen. This is from the 3rd canto, 6th chapter, shloka number 4. You see, the Virat Rupa or Vishwarupa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, which is very much appreciated by the impersonalist, is not an eternal form of the Lord. It is manifested by the supreme will of the Lord after the ingredients of material creation. That means the eternal form of the Lord, Shyam Sundar, eternally exists. But the universe or the material form is sometimes annihilated, sometimes manifested. So whenever manifestation happens, it is for the impersonalist to imagine. It is an imaginary form actually. If you see the first few cantos of Bhagavatam, when Shukdev Goswami started speaking, he saw that many of them are impersonalists also. So how to speak Bhagavatam? So he spoke the first two cantos of Bhagavatam, in which 3 times the whole creation is described, and at least 3 times the Virat Purusha is described, just to bring everybody on the platform where they can become a little qualified to hear about the pastimes of Varahadev, Maitreya Vidura Samvad. So first 2 cantos is like building up. For example, when we start some new batch, we speak with the fundamentals for 7-8 weeks. Then we introduce them to Bhakti Viksha. So that fundamental building was being done. So Lord Krishna exhibited this Virat or Vishwarupa to Arjuna to convince the impersonalists, not to Arjuna. If Arjuna really wanted, like we saw in this video, he was begging, please show me. So if Arjuna really wanted that, why after seeing it he would say, show me the original form again? He would have said, na, snapshot. Yeah, say, hey, please stand like that. Let me go on seeing. But he didn't want to see that. So therefore it is mentioned in this purport. Please listen. Lord Krishna exhibited this Virat or Vishwarupa to Arjuna just to convince the impersonalists that he is the original personality of Godhead. Krishna exhibited the Virat Rupa. It is not that Krishna was exhibited by the Virat Rupa. No. Many people think when Virat Rupa is there, in that one form is Krishna. So Virat Rupa is not therefore an eternal form exhibited in the spiritual sky. It is a material manifestation of the Lord. This is something which we have to remember. The Archa Vigraha or a worshipable deity in the temple is a similar manifestation of the Lord for the neophytes. But in spite of their material touch, such forms of the Lord as the Virat and Archa are non-different from his eternal form as Lord Krishna. So what is this mystery? It is telling that the Vigrahas also which we have is Virat Rupa only. How to understand? स्थावर जंगम देखी न देखी तार मूर्ति सर्वत्र है निज इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. So where you see Lord Krishna depends on your vision. There is a very nice verse in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yad shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, those who have love, the ointment of love in their eyes, in them the spiritual vision is awakened, and in the spiritual television of their heart, they are always seeing Krishna. I'll explain you with a material example. Suppose there is a mother and the child has gone away and she is missing the child. So when that mother will see the small shoes of the child, what will the mother see? Tell me. Mothers are here. What will you see? When you see the shoes, you will not see the shoes, but you will think of the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the child. Correct, no? Similarly, if the child used to sit in a particular place every day and have some food or do some work, so when you will see that chair or table, what you will feel? You will think of the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the child. So it is in the vision. So a pure devotee of the Lord, whatever he sees it in connection with Krishna. Example. Once Srila Prabhupada was sitting in a car and the car was passing by a house. Near the house there was a post box. And there was a child who was trying to put a letter in the post box, but he was unable to do so. So his father lifted him, and then when he was lifted, then he was able to post the letter. You know how Srila Prabhupada saw this? He said, just like without the help of the father, the child can never post the letter, similarly without the help of the Supreme Father Krishna, the Jivatma cannot even send his prayer letter to him. Such a transcendental vision. If normal people will see, they will say maybe the post box height has to be reduced, or something, some procedure, maybe email, internet install karna chahiye, they are still putting letters. Some nonsense conclusions will come. But the pure devotee always sees the hand of Krishna in everything. So a pure devotee sees the spiritual manifestation everywhere. But a neophyte or an atheist, they see only subject matter of matter. So that is the difference. So essentially speaking, this Virat Roop is not an eternal form of the Lord, but it is not different from the Lord based on vision. If you think of the Lord and look at the Virat Rupa, then slowly from impersonalism, slowly, gradually, you will move towards personalism. That is the only hope for impersonalists. Because as I said, some short circuit is there in the brain. So how to help them? Let them meditate on the impersonal form. Let them, when they see the sun, let them think this is the eye of the Lord. When they see the moon, this is the next eye of the Lord. Let them meditate like that. But because there is a tinge of personalism, this whole moon, sun is somebody's eyes. So slowly they will gradually shift towards personalism. I have a little bit experience of dealing with an impersonalist. So they started coming to temple, and they wouldn't agree with the philosophy in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and they would say that I am not able to understand all this. So we all engaged that person in devotional service. Okay, you please come clean the temple, wash the vessels, help us in some little small seva. So for 1 year he continued doing some services to the Lord, and he kept eating a lot of prasadam. After 1 year he came and told, now I am beginning to understand. So the repair of this short circuit is devotional service, engagement in devotional service, and accepting Krishna Prasad. So where philosophy doesn't work, prasadam works. Where philosophy doesn't work, seva works. So in that way, Krishna has expanded his circle to everybody. He is inviting everyone, whether you are an impersonalist, whether you are a Mayavadi, whether you are a personalist, whether you are a Jnani, whether you are a Karmi, whether you are a Yogi, or whether you are a Bhakta. Come, engage in my devotional service. Patram pushpam phalam toya. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Somehow or the other, do some seva. This shows how liberal Krishna is. He is inviting everybody. Some people argue and they claim that Krishna shows some kind of favoritism towards his devotees. So Krishna is inviting everybody to come in the circle of his partiality. You said he is partial to his devotees, so he is giving the chance to practice devotion to everybody. Even an impersonalist can bring little water. Even a Mayavadi can bring little flowers. Even an aborigine can give little fruit. Anybody can do this. And anybody who does this under the guidance of some devotee, Krishna will accept that. And in that way, their sukriti will increase and slowly they will become personalist. There are various kinds of Mayavadis also, which I don't want to get into the discussion. But this is the essence. So, the Mayavadis will claim that this Archa Vigraha which we have is also manifestation of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. So this is also Virat Roop only. So no, this is not Virat Roop. Because when we worship it after performing the proper Prana Pratishtha, then whatever we serve, whatever offerings which we make, it is actually reaching the Supreme Personality of God. So this is the process, this is the science behind Arch Vigraha Upasana. But the materialist or the impersonalist or the Mayavadi will not be able to see this science. They will only see, oh, this is copper, oh, this is stone. When they will go and stand in front of any deity, they will say, oh, this is platinum, this is marble. That's all they'll see. But they will not see how it is, although it is made of marble or platinum or copper, but at the same time it is also transcendental. and whatever service we do, it is reaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada explains this concept using post box example. So suppose there is one post box which is connected to the postal service, and there is one post box which is not connected to the postal service. So if you put a letter in the post box which is not connected to the postal service, for millions and billions of years the letter will remain there. It will never reach anywhere, correct? But if you put the letter in the official postal service post box, then immediately it will reach the destination. So similarly, the same earth, water, fire, air and ether in an official way, in a devotional way, when you invoke the presence of the Lord in it, then whatever seva you do, it is immediately reaching to the Lord. But if that prem pratishtha, prana pratishtha has not been done, then it is just like some stone or copper. So therefore, whenever next time a Mayavadi says, hey, you are also worshipping Virat Rupa, what do you have to supposed to say? No, we are not worshipping Virat Rupa. You have a short circuit in your brain. Please sit here. Let us read little. Like that you have to explain him. Or if he is very aggressive, don't worry. Just eat little gulab jamun. Just come to the temple. We need your help. In that way, engage. And then after some time, they will understand. I have personally seen an impersonalist becoming a personalist. And that was a great miracle for me. Another purport, which will throw more light. The conception of the Virat, universal form of the Lord, as appearing in this material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent to adjust to the idea that the Lord's having a form. But factually, the Lord has no material form. The conception of the Lord, known as Virat Rupa or Virat Purusha, Vishwarupa or Virat Purusha, is particularly not mentioned along the various incarnations. So in this chapter, immediately after this verse, the different incarnations of Krishna are described. This incarnation, that at least 24 different incarnations are mentioned. And then towards the end they say, Ete cha amshah kalaha pumsah krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridyanti yuve. All these incarnations are either plenary incarnations or plenary incarnations of the plenary incarnations, but Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, he is the Lord himself. And after that this verse comes, verse number 30. Again Virat Rupa concept. So they are saying this Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa is particularly not mentioned along with the various incarnations of the Lord, because all incarnations of the Lord mentioned above are transcendental and there is no tinge of materialism in their bodies. That means all the incarnations, they have a spiritual planet, but the Virat Rupa has no spiritual planet. It just manifests itself when the creation is there and when a particular impersonalist wants to see it. There is no difference between the body and the self as there is in the conditioned soul. The Virat Rupa is conceived for those who are just neophyte worshippers. For them, material Virat Rupa is presented, and again it will be explained in second canto, which we already read. In Virat Rupa, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, hands, and actually all such descriptions are for the neophytes. The neophytes cannot conceive anything beyond matter, point to be noted. The neophyte cannot conceive anything beyond matter. So therefore the form of the Lord has to be presented materially to him. The material conception of the Lord is not counted in the list of his factual forms. As Paramatma or Super Soul, the Lord is within each and every material form, even within the atoms. But the outward material form is an imagination, both for the Lord and the living beings. The present form of the conditioned souls are also not factual. So in one way you can understand, just like the pure Jiva is hiding behind the material form, similarly the Supreme Lord is hiding behind the Virat form. So there some reciprocation is going on. Krishna is saying, oh, you are identifying yourself with this material body. So in this situation, if I come in front of you in my Shyam Sundar form, you will not be able to appreciate me, you will not be able to surrender to me. So how you will appreciate me in this way? So okay, let me give you this Virat Rupa. But although this is not, just like this is not my real form, this body is not me. Dehina yasmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptim dhiras tatra namaniti. This is not my material form. This is not my spiritual form rather. So similarly, the original spiritual form of the Lord is not the Virat Rupa, but just to reciprocate with the Baddha Jiva. The Jiva is hiding behind a material form, so the Lord also is hiding behind a material form. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. The way you approach me, that way I will reveal. You have approached me hiding behind a material form, so I will also hide behind a material form. That is the mood of the Lord. The conclusion is that the material conception of the body of the Lord as Virat is imaginary. Both the Lord and the living beings are living spirits and have original spiritual bodies. So I read few verses, 2:124, 1:330 and 3:6:4. Yes, 3:6:4 I have not read. Just listen to the 3:6:4. No, 3:6:4 also. In one of the purports, I forgot to bookmark it here, it was mentioned that devotees don't like to see this Virat Rupa. They are not interested to see this Virat Rupa because they have a transcendental vision. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. So one who is at the platform of Bhava and Prema, even if the Virat Rupa comes in front of them, they will not be interested, probably they will not see it also. For instance, during the Ras Leela, the gopis are very much attached to the Shyam Sundar form. They are not very much attached to the Chaturbhuj Narayana form. So during the Ras Leela, Lord Krishna appears in the Chaturbhuj form. And what do the gopis do? They offer obeisances to the Chaturbhuj form. And then what they do? They ask, where is Krishna? So Narayan points that he has gone in that direction. And then the gopis leave Narayan, leave the Chaturbhuj form. They leave Narayan and they run behind Krishna. So Prabhupada uses that as a reference to say that this proves that Krishna is the original form of Narayana, and he in his Shyam Sundar form is his beauty in the Shyam Sundar form surpasses his beauty in all the other expansions. So similarly, Arjuna was not very much interested to see the Virat Rupa because he was a friend of Krishna. He was a Sakha of Krishna. So in order to degrade him from the Prema platform so that he is able to see the Virat Rup, Krishna had to give him Divya Chakshu. Do you understand? He is not interested to see the Virat Rupa. He cannot handle the Virat Rupa. He does not want to see the Virat Rupa. But in order to tell him that, okay, you please see, you please come down from the material Prema platform and see my material form, Krishna gave him Divya Chakshu. And many people are thinking, oh, Arjuna was upgraded by giving Divya Chakshu. No. I forgot, I will maybe after this class I will send that reference to the purport where Srila Prabhupada clearly says Arjuna was not interested to see the Virat Rupa. And in order to force him to see the Virat Rupa, Krishna gave him some vision, which is the vision which the impersonalists aspire for. So that is the whole concept of this Virat Rupa, Virat Purusha. Conclusions. Number one, Virat Rupa is not an eternal form of the Lord. Do all of you agree? Virat Rupa is a temporary manifestation of the personal form of the Lord. Do you agree? Virat Rupa is something which the impersonalists or the neophytes aspire to see because they cannot think of anything beyond matter. Do you agree? Virat Rupa is the bridge between the impersonal and the personal form for the neophytes to walk on this bridge. Do you agree? By completely worshipping this Virat form, one day, by the mercy of the devotees, an impersonalist will become personalist. Do you agree? So this much understanding if you have, then we are qualified to read today's purport, 133. Are you ready? This much background was necessary. So now you will be able to understand. The conception of Virat Rupa and Vishwarupa of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. What is this power extension? Vibhutis. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are 84 vibhutis mentioned. Krishna says, amongst the aquatics, I am what? Whale. Shark. नहीं मत्स्य अरे 10th chapter से not from Bhagavatam. In 10th chapter Krishna says, right, among the aquatics I am shark, among the Daityas I am Prahlad. So like that he gives some vibhutis. Vibhutis means power extensions. Something which is very wonderful, which is very powerful, which is empowered by Krishna. And when you see that, you should think of Krishna. Krishna says, amongst the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So is Arjuna Krishna? No. But when you see Arjuna, Arjuna is empowered by Krishna. So when you see Arjuna, you should think of whom? Krishna. So these are the vibhutis. So power extension when they say, so they are talking about vibhutis. So to the neophyte, a form means something of this material world, therefore an opposite conception of the absolute. Krishna is spiritual, an opposite conception of Krishna is material. It is necessary for him to concentrate the mind on the vibhutis of the Lord or the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of Mahat Tattva. Before Mahat Tattva, there was something called unmanifested state of matter, which is called Pradhan. When the Pradhan is glanced by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu, whichever form you take, then the Pradhan gets agitated with the modes of material nature. And then mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and then so much other creation happens, which is 3 times described in the first 3 cantos of Bhagavatam. So as stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of Mahat Tattva, which includes all material existence. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself are personally one in one sense. So Shakti and Shaktiman are non-different. That's what this line basically says. But it is always important to understand, according to Siddhanta, that Shakti is subservient to Shaktiman. If Shakti overpowers the Shaktiman, then the whole concept of Shaktiman will not be there. This is important, although the effect of Shakti is the same as Shaktiman. Ram Ban is non-different from Ram. Now you understand. Whatever Ram wants to achieve, he will achieve through his Ban. That is Ram Ban. So Ram Ban in a particular situation does what Lord Ram wants to do, and the work of Ram Ban is the same as Ram. The effect of Ram Ban is the same as the effect of Ram. But Ram Ban is always subservient to Ram. So similarly, Shakti, the effect of Shakti is the same as that of Shaktiman, but Shakti is subservient to Shaktiman. So that's why Srila Prabhupada is telling here. What is he telling? Potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. Personally one in one sense. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva is being discussed here. The conception of the Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalist, is non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. They will think that the head of Krishna is this Brahma Loka. This Patala Loka is the feet of Krishna. Like that they will think. So for them this is eternal only. Eternal form. They are thinking of the eternal form of Krishna via the agency or via the method or via the process of this Virat Rupa. Now you carefully analyze what is happening these days in Buddhism. Now in Buddhism, at one point of time, by the strength of Vedic culture, animal sacrifice has increased like anything. So in order to stop the animal sacrifice, Lord Buddha, who is the incarnation of the Lord, he said, I do not believe in Vedas. And when he was asked, does God exist? He used to keep quiet. And then he used to say, follow me. So the result of this was that the Vedic culture was defeated all over India. And kings like Ashoka, they spread it like anything all over the world. As a result of which animal sacrifices stopped. For a huge time, almost the entire world had become vegetarian. Kitna acha time tha. But the problem was that they had become atheists because they went against the Vedic literature. So although in the Dashavatar there are different forms of the Lord, it is seen that all the other forms are actually worshipped and glorified through deity worship. But in no temple we will generally see that Buddha is being worshipped. Why? Although he is form of the Lord, but because he said that do not believe in Vedic culture, so therefore Vaishnavas, they do not worship Lord Buddha, but they acknowledge him as the form of the Lord. But then something very mystical happened. Although Buddha said impersonalism, voidism, there is no God, don't follow the Vedas, just follow what I say, medium path. He never encouraged worshipping any deity. So his direct disciples, they were all impersonalists. But now if you go to Bodh Gaya, where the Bodhi tree is there and the Mahabodhi temple is there, if you enter that temple, they have made a big deity of Buddha. And they are doing arti. They are changing the dress. They are offering things to eat. This is going on. They are just imitating what happens in Vishnu temples. Changing dress. So although Buddha was impersonalist, but he cheated people through his enigmatic personality he cheated and slowly and gradually cheated the impersonalists into personalism. Now every Buddhist has a photo of Buddha, every coffee mug has a photo of Buddha, every gift shop has, any house you go, any yoga studio you go, any meditation forum you go, first you will see a photo of Buddha. And secretly all these impersonalists, they are meditating on the photo, on the personal form. Buddha is the personal form of the Lord. So in this way they are advancing. In this way they are progressing in bhakti actually. So the impersonalists and the voidists, like the Buddhists, are secretly becoming devotees of Buddha. I saw when I went to the Mahabodhi temple, I saw they were bringing fruits, they were bringing dress, they are burning candles, they are sitting in front of, I saw some, I don't know whether they were Buddhists or not, they are sitting in front of the big deity of Buddha, they are clapping their hands and they are singing bhajans. I said, very nice impersonalism is going on here. And our Shankaracharya, he is more intelligent, very intelligent. His job was to bring back the Vedic culture. You know what Shankaracharya did? He went to the Mahabodhi temple, and in front of the Mahabodhi temple he established, in the same chamber, Sanctum Sanctorium, in the same chamber he has established a Shivlinga and a Durga deity. Mili Juli Sarkar bana diya wahan pe. So all these Buddhists, they would have been doing something, but un log dekh rahe honge ki people are coming, they are offering water to Shivlinga, they are doing agarbatti and worship to Mother Durga. अब वो बुद्धा को भी करने लगे क्योंकि competition होगा. So Shankaracharya was really intelligent. Wherever there was impersonalism at its peak, he went and established Vedic culture there by making a small temple. So in this way, people who meditate on the Virat Rupa, knowingly or unknowingly, because they have agreed to meditate on the Virat Rupa, and because indirectly they are thinking of the personal, of some kind of a personal form, they are progressing towards personal worship of the Lord. So, where I was reading? This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of Mahat Tattva, and it is said that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and the formation of his multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always the same transcendental quality without any touch of Mahat Tattva. So I hope you have understood everything today. So I think in this verse only, you see, it is mentioned. A pure devotee of the Lord, being unaccustomed to looking into such mundane, gigantic form of the Lord, requires special vision for this purpose. The Lord therefore favored Arjuna with this special vision for looking into the Virat Rupa. I consider this as degradation from the prema platform because it is mundane, it is gigantic. A pure devotee does not want to see. Usko dekhne ke liye they are just giving that material angle that okay, this is also an angle, look at me. So this was the verse which I was referring to. So with that I would like to conclude today's discussion with the summary that Virat Rupa is connected to the personal form of the Lord through the process of imagination. But because it is mentioned in the Shastra, anybody who takes up this Virat Rupa form of worship will slowly become a personalist, will slowly become a devotee. Virat Rupa is an material, temporary manifestation of the Lord. It is not an eternal form of the Lord. And this Virat Rupa is meant for only those people who cannot think of anything beyond matter. Like I said, they have some short circuit in their brain. They cannot just understand that there can be something which is spiritual in a Sachidananda form. That is the whole and soul of this Virat Rupa concept. This Virat Rupa is a mercy of Krishna on the neophytes so that they can also progress in bhakti. Just like the pure jiva is hiding behind the material body, the Vishuddha, Parama jiva, not jiva, Parama super soul, the Vishuddha super soul, that is Sri Krishna, is hiding behind the Virat Rupa. Because the neophytes will not be able to handle him in his Shyama Sundar form. So this is the summary of today's entire discussion. Any questions or comments? Yes, you can stop. Whenever questions and answers start, without indication, you please stop the video.